seem to get it, and in my mind I'm ready. My time's made up, I gotta go. And it's alright if you want to see through your tomorrow, but right now I gotta go. If you want to stay, then you can.
Here's our music serving you some music. Papa got a brand new funk. Kick down, party for your right. Let's get it on, like we said before. See the brothers for the trouble, hate the busted bubble, cause we rumble from our lower level to condition.
You know I always forget to do that. I always forget to put my microphone on. Let me try that again. Hello everybody, Nate Patterson, and this is Express Yourself live from my bedroom, the COVID-19 version. And that's because, you know, the studio's closed. Can't get in there. All right, this is the place where I get to say what I want, say it how I want, and nobody's here to take the conversation to the right or the left because it's all on me, and these are my opinions and my opinions only. Now, today I got a guest, and we're doing the How You Fight or How We Fight series here on Express Yourself. And I have a guest that is a former native of Springfield, Massachusetts. He went to the enemy school, Technical High School. I was a Commerce Red Raider. So, you know, we kid each other like that. Let me get some light on me because I look a little dark, right? So, all the way from Alabama, my brother, Mr. Jack Johnson. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm fine. Hey, what happened to that volume?
The volume's gone. You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. I'm just playing with you.
Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Just surviving, working hard, living. You know how it is, you know.
You look good, man. It's glad to see you almost see me in person. We always go back and forth on Facebook. You know what I mean? We became friends on Facebook, and it's good to get a chance to actually verbalize with you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And thank you for agreeing to come on the show. Now, this is Express Yourself Live. This is where you get to say whatever you want, how you want. You know, this is where you do exactly that. You express yourself. Okay? We got a series, just to let our audience know, this is a series to get the perspective of what's going on, current affairs, you know, what's going on right now, and get your raw feelings. All right? All right, so what we're going to do is going to start out, let our audience know something about you, what you're doing, whatever you want them to know before we can get into the topic, sir.
Okay, well, you know, I'm Jake Johnson, born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, the home of the Basketball Hall of Fame, where basketball began, the Peach Basket.
Yes, sir.
I grew up right down the road from Springfield College on Eastern Avenue at the bottom, Hickory, Eastern Avenue. And Hickory Street was my hangout out there at the projects. I grew up in the project, hanging out. You know, we were the Hickory Street Raiders, football, basketball, and whatever type of competition you wanted to be in with us. Back in the 70s. You know, been married now for 29 years. Moved down here to Alabama Crimson Tide community neighborhood.
Wow.
State, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Back in 1992. Me and my wife and my daughter.
Brother, you got that accent.
Yeah, they said I picked it up down here.
Oh man, it sounds like you were born down there, brother.
yeah. They said I picked it up. You know, I don't mind. You know, when I get back there, I try to talk a little bit of what we call that normal.
We like to call it normal. You know, they say we got an accent too. Okay, so here's the deal. All right, we got an hour, right? And as we discussed right before the show, let's see. We got two topics. Okay, the first topic for the first half hour is going to be COVID-19. I'd like to get your thoughts on COVID-19 and just your general thoughts before we actually get into the discussion. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I believe the COVID-19 originated, like everyone says, in China. I believe it was an experiment for China to germ warfare against their own people because they so overpopulated.
Okay.
And that was something that I was taught and learned of when I was in the military. It was in the United States Army in 81 to 85. That because of the overpopulation of China,
right,
they were actually taking girl babies and getting rid of the girl babies because they were the producers of children. It might have been propaganda, it might have been true. But anyway, that's why I think with COVID-19 was manufactured in China for the reason of population control. And it got out of hand.
I heard that.
It spread.
I heard that right at the beginning of COVID. I heard that it was a population control measure to, like you just said, to reduce the population and not have it exceed and all that other good stuff. All right. So you said that you think it originated in, I guess, Wuhan, China, right? Is where it was, right?
Correct.
Okay, and it got out of control. We're not that far off, right? From my belief, you know what I mean. I think it was a weaponized virus. Did you see the movie Plandemic?
Say it again. What was it?
Plandemic.
Plandemic. No, I haven't seen that. I've heard of it, but I haven't watched that movie yet. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind you saying a little bit about it. I'm not one of those people.
No, the reason I brought it up. No, the reason I brought it up is because that lady put a lot of shade on the way that COVID was rolled out to the public over here in the United States. And she's a scientist. She was blackballed out of the scientist or scientific community, whatever it is, right, by none other than Dr. Fauci. And Dr. Fauci seems to have everybody's trust. I got to tell you, man, when I first heard that man speak, I didn't know him from Adam, but I didn't get a good feeling. I had red flags, and I usually trust my feelings, man. So I did some research on him, and as it turns out, without going into Plandemic, and even before I knew that, I found out he was Gates's boy. Okay. He works for Gates, man, and that's never really been brought to the forefront since he's been in the forefront, right? As a matter of fact, I think there was some type of denial there, right? But in the movie Plandemic, right, she brought that out and she told detail how he got to where he is. You know what I mean? So what do you feel about not Plandemic, about Fauci? First, let's start with him.
Fauci, he, from a scientific perspective, he gives some insight. I have to do my own research when I do listen to people where they talk about, the coronavirus and, what it does and how it does, and, how it affects people from their physical to their psychological or whatever, from their health perspective, health-wise. And, so I mean, I judge everybody fairly until I get I have a suspicion too. And so I mean, like I said, I have to see Plandemic. Listen to this young lady. But I've heard of Fauci before, even back I think when Obama was president. You know what I'm saying? His name wasn't brought up that much,
right?
Rarely. But because of course they had a plan other than of course this president today. But I like I said, I judge him fairly. I listen to what he says, and and I listen. He's not the only one. See, I think that's what people have a problem, is that they're not listening to many different perspectives on the scientific aspect of the virus.
Right.
So I've listened to the other doctor that Trump has, and I've also listened to Dr. Sanjay. Was it Dr. Sanjay over on CNN?
Sanjay Gupta.
And Gupta, yeah, I listened to him. I listened to other guest scientists that CNN and MSNBC had. So his is not the only one.
Go ahead, finish.
Go ahead.
You know, Sanjay Gupta started out here at Bay State Medical Center. The reason I know that is because I work for an answering service. We used to answer his lines after hours. and he was growing to be this, you know, this hotshot doctor, but he was always on TV, you know what I mean? And then blam, he blew up, brother. He blew up. But
Yeah.
you brought this out that Fauci wasn't the only one to listen to. There happened to be in charge of this thing. I don't know if she was a part of the Trump administration. I don't know if she was a part of the Trump administration or not, but a black female doctor, and I forget her name. I'm sitting here racking my brain, right, trying to remember her name, and but I can't. Dr. Kinesanga, something like that. It's like an African name, but she got in a little hot water because she said that the response to the COVID-19 pandemic was racist, was systemic racist. And she put that blame on the Trump administration and Fauci and all those guys. What do you think about that?
Well, I do think they got a slow start. I don't know what their objective was or whether or not they believed it was that serious. Coming from the Trump administration, you know, everybody falls under his spell of being naive.
How?
You know, being naive.
Right.
If he's naive, let's all be naive, no matter how more smart we are older than him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just fall into that web of deceit that he has. So, you know, I just say that they responded slow. I was telling everybody back in February that this thing is going to spread like cancer spreads through a body untreated.
Mm.
And I said that in March, I started wearing my gloves and my mask
So
before it became popular. So
in the beginning,
you know,
right? Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yes, yes. So that's where my perspective comes from. You know, anytime you hear somebody get on TV and say, you know, I take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take it lightly. I don't get lightly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's right. Go ahead. Yeah.
So what this doctor was saying sort of jives, man. Now that we can look at things in hindsight, right? Because in real time it was hard to get with a lot of things that was being put out there because you know we're still trying to process all this information and what information that we had. But see, in the beginning, I stumbled on something and I ran with it. I made a couple of videos about it. I usually put 70% on all the videos that I talk about COVID-19. Now, why 70%? Because that was our death rate or mortality rate since this pandemic started. Remember in the beginning when this thing first started and we were on Facebook saying it can't touch the melanin, right? Do you remember that?
Correct, I do. And I called folks out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said there's no difference. And I said a disease, a virus has no it doesn't have a bias.
Right.
It'll attack anybody that it will attack. It doesn't matter your race, creed, nationality, religion, or what have you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets in your system, it's gonna do the same thing it does to the white folk.
Now here's a question.
That's what I was preaching that,
mm-hmm.
and I was hollering that in March.
Here's
I said, don't listen to folks don't listen to Trump folks that said it don't attack melanin or it when it gets hot it's gonna just disappear. I said that's a lie.
So with that said, right, and I forgot my question. Let me I got short-term memory loss real bad. Right? It'll come back in a second. Right? So let me go here. Okay, I started making these videos because in the beginning, right, when all the deaths were coming out and people were saying, "Oh, I can't touch the melanin," right? We actually didn't see an actual dead body. We saw bodies covered up. You know what I mean? We didn't actually see the skin color of anything, right? And so reporters, along with myself at home, but reporters start saying, hey, can you give us a demographical breakdown of this virus, actually who's dying, and yada, yada, yada. Now, your boy Fauci danced around that for, I think, 2.5 months. We need more data. We can't really, this because all these excuses, right? The media wasn't printing the demographic breakdown, and it wasn't coming out. But finally, it started to trickle out. And this is why I put 70% on those videos, because when it did trickle out, and now we know today that the death rate in every major city, 70% of the deaths from COVID are black, right? And across the country, nationwide, 70% of the deaths from COVID are black.
Black and brown people.
Why do you think that is? And I got a backup. I'm trying to set you up here, but I got a backup. Go ahead.
Because what I believe it is because, like you said, people believe that it didn't touch the melanin, the black or the brown people. So many walked around unprotected. It's killing the white man. It's killing the white man. That's what I've seen. Because in Birmingham, Alabama, in the beginning, it was 45% white, 36% African American. Okay, so and so it we slowly caught up in Birmingham, Alabama, because we went with. So with that, I just think that we, naively went into it thinking that it couldn't touch us because of the custom. Because also at that time, if you were studying the world map and where they were showing all the red and everything like that, Africa, southern part of Africa wasn't showing. So then a lot of people was speaking on that perspective. Where it's warm and those fish warm in the southern mid and southern part of Africa and everything like that. So it would just kept touching the northern part of African countries. So a lot of people went with that.
But Africa,
I just think that
Africa had a very low COVID rate. Africa and Russia.
Yeah, very low. And then it started to spread, and it started to spread, I believe, in Africa because of travel. People come back and forth to Africa and things of that nature. But now, now that we realize that it touches us, I think now, people are more or less covering up, except for the young. I got a nephew who's 25 years old. He won't wear a mask unless we tell him to. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of our young blacks are taking it to their grandparents, their great aunts, their parents, and things like that. And that's how they're contracting the virus.
Right. So let me run this by you.
Yeah.
Okay, in the movie Plandemic, the lady doctor, I can't remember her name. Okay, but she was blackballed and arrested and all kinds. It seemed like a plot out of a movie. But I researched it. And what little information you could find out about it, she's spot on. So, and then with those people with that kind of power can remove a lot of stuff, or they can make you look silly, by changing a lot of stuff because they have the power to do that. So I took that in mind when I did the research. So I think she was accurate in what she was saying, right? She also said, well, first let me put this in perspective. Her job was to create viruses. Okay, so that's her job, and I think she has a great understanding of what she's doing. I think this is, and she said it in Plandemic, a weaponized virus. Now, a weaponized virus is in a different category as a regular virus. Okay, the characteristics of that virus has changed. I remember what I wanted to say, and I segued right into it. A few years ago on Facebook, I saw this video of this white pastor speaking to his congregation, who was all white, and it wasn't racially motivated, nothing like that. He was giving his congregation information, right? And what he was telling his congregation is that scientists have developed a way to target demographics by their DNA. Now, if that be true, and I know it is, because you know it is too, because you've been in the military, right? Look at the characteristics of what COVID-19 attacks, and generally, they are black-specific ailments. Your thoughts?
Right. Yeah, all vaccines. I've always tell people this. Remember the Tuskegee experiment. Okay, always remember Tuskegee. I haven't taken a flu shot or pneumonia shot since I left the military in 1985.
There you go.
And I have not had the flu or the pneumonia.
Right.
I've had colds that lasted, it's normal 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about it.
Right.
I don't trust the system to the point where I want them to give me a vaccine that's supposed to keep me healthy. Because I remember the Tuskegee experiment.
Exactly.
And I think that's what when they run out of animals, you better believe they're coming to our community.
Hey man, you said a mouthful right there, because even right now they're trying to get black people to step up to be guinea pigs for the so-called vaccine for COVID. You know,
Right.
like we don't remember Tuskegee.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be back to take that vaccine. I'm gonna wait because I'm not taking it.
I don't think I'm going to take it because I'm scared of needles anyway.
Yeah, I'm aware of COVID. I know how to stop it from getting the virus.
Mm-hmm.
I may be asymptomatic. I don't know, but I know that when I go to the gas station or when I go to the stores, I wear my gloves. I actually carry my Lysol and my hand sanitizer, and I hand sanitize everything. I touch the gas pump, the doors that are open, and everything of that nature, because I mean I'm taking them serious. This may be a thing to try to get rid of people of dark color skin.
Now see right there, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, because I know there's something out there, but I refuse to believe that it's the way that they presented it to us. Right? I thought in the beginning that the virus moved too fast and spread across this continent way too fast for normal, out of normality, for lack of better words, right? And it was just weird to me, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, because it like I say, a lot of it had to do with us in the beginning, but now that is still hitting us, and I think it's a lot. This is what I keep trumpeting and telling my nephew, godson. You and your buddies go hang out at the club because it opened up the state. Don't mean that you can't carry it. You might be asymptomatic.
Yeah.
And you might carry it, to different people. So you have to be careful. You really have to take this virus serious. I actually work in a mental health center, and I actually brought down one of my clients Monday because he had the symptoms. He had gotten a test last Friday, got the results back Sunday, and they said that he was negative.
Wow.
Well, I got to work on Monday. He was still hacking and coughing and had a high fever. I called my nurse, and I said he needs to go to the hospital. He gonna die.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when I got him to the hospital, he tested positive for COVID.
And that's the problem, man. These tests are not accurate, because you hear that kind of story a lot, way more than you should, right? Hey, we got 5 more minutes on this topic, so I want to kind of like shift a little bit and go here. Your fearless leader and his response to this, and his total administration's response and their posture on this particular issue and pandemic. How do you think it's being handled, sir?
Oh, it's being handled terribly, but it's not unexpected. I mean, I knew that this is how he would treat it. Trump is a rich, ignorant man. And if he didn't have money, he'd be a man somewhere locked in a one-bedroom basement apartment in New York. Okay?
I believe you.
With no friends and with no woman. Okay? That's what he would be. Okay? And you can see his demographic. The demographic of supporters, 27% are just that.
That's crazy.
And I'll just put that out there. I don't care who get offended.
They might come at you if they look at this, and I got some haters that do watch. They hate watch. We're gonna get Jack Johnson.
Yeah, they come at me all want to. I'm a great debater.
There you go.
So, that's what I think. They handled it terribly. He lied from the beginning about it, and he's still lying today about it.
It seems to me, man, because you're. I think you are my age, right? So you should remember back when we were in school, man, and it was still the Cold War. We were scared of Russia and all that, and then finally the Berlin Wall came down and whatnot. I think Khrushchev was the Russian president, and he said that America was going to be destroyed from the inside. Do you remember that quote? Because it was huge at the
Right.
time, right? So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it was Gorbachev.
Oh, it was Gorbachev.
Yeah, Gorbachev tear this wall down. I remember that phrase.
Okay, so I stand corrected. Gorbachev, right? But that was ominous. And now today, because it's my firm belief that our so-called president is a traitor. He committed treason. He worked with Putin. He's Putin's puppet. This is where I'm rolling, and I'll argue the point with anybody because there's too much proof out there for it. So with all that said, the way he's responded to this thing, it's like he wants the country to be infected. And what better way to weaken the country for an attack?
Exactly. I believe he is a puppet for Putin.
That sounds like a voting slogan. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And he will do anything that his buddy over there tells him to do to fraction the United States of America. Because
It seems
I
that way.
believe that there was a deal made before the 2016 election and before he started running.
Right.
About how he could, because I think he wants to go to Russia, build his Trump towers, Trump plazas, and share the money with his buddy Putin and try to evade and escape from the United States because of this tax evasion and tax fraud that he's committed over the many years he's had his businesses.
They say that he's up for charges once he gets out of office. That's why he's fighting so hard to get in, and you might have a point with what you're saying, man, because, man, I can't see how he's still in office. I got to be honest with you. I cannot see how that man is still our president.
Because of the Senate. If the Senate were Democratic, they would have had him out by now because they would have voted him out. They would have Congress impeached him, and they would have went along with the impeachment, and they would have got him out of office.
Man.
But that's why I encourage people to encourage young people and encourage all people, get your ID if you can't get a license, because this is going to be a propaganda, Putin involvement type of election. They've already talked about how Trump is going to have his people at polling places intimidating people, asking for IDs, and if they don't have one, going to try to force them out of line.
That's right.
Things of that nature. So it's going to be a battle. November 3rd is my birthday.
Okay.
It's going to be the day I take off, and I'm going to try to help get people to the polls to vote.
All right. With that said, we're going to take this break, and we'll be right back on the flip side.
Officers are the school where you perpetuate the school to prison pipeline, and I always like to focus on the fact that we need to increase our expectations of our young people. Time to listen to all of what you have to say. I vote for you, and you can't give me the courtesy on a return.
I didn't have my microphone on. I do that all the time, man. You know, it's just I'm not in the studio, man. I don't have my timing right. Man, I got to tell you, man, it's just so embarrassing, right? But anyways, we're back here in the studio, right, with brother Jack Johnson, and we're talking up a storm here, man, because this brother has a real good. Stop. Okay, just slow down, Nick. Do what you're supposed to do. Your audience to understand. This brother has a real good grasp of what's happening, but now we tackle the hard stuff, right? We tackle the hard stuff. I saw an interview with Trump and Chris Wallace, right? With Trump and Chris Wallace, where he was talking about Trump took this test, I guess, right? And it was a very simple test. But Trump said he argued the point to Chris Wallace that he couldn't answer the last 5 questions. So they said one of the questions, man, was count from 100 to 1 by sevens. Right now, that's kind of hard to do, but anybody with a good mind can do it. But Trump said nobody could do it but him. That dude's an idiot, man. All right, so here we go. The George Floyd protest. We all know what happened. You know, the cop and two or three of his buddies. You know, they put all their body weight on the homeboy. For no good reason other than they hated black people, in my opinion. But in any regard, that happened, right? And before that, right? Before that happened, man, we had been marching and work, you know, and protesting and doing all these things, right? Trying to draw attention to what the cops have been doing, right? Since what? Since I was born and way before, man. This thing is called fire, brother. I mean, I saw people in Norway, and the amount. Go ahead. Oh, and the amount.
Oh yeah, all over the world.
The amounts of the crowds dwarfed anything we have here in the United States. I mean, I couldn't believe that. Sweden, what do they got to do with anything? But you know, I said all that to say this, man. We finally had a paradigm shift in the white demographic. They seem to be coming around. A lot of them are standing on our side, and they're standing up with us. Now, with all that, that's all great, but that also creates a few internal problems that we'll have to work out, right? But in Atlanta, because my son is down in Atlanta, and he's on the front lines. Him and his girl are protesting, and I asked him, you know, what it's like down there, you know, with white people. Do you trust them? And yada yada yada. He said, yeah, it's real. It's real, man. How is that affecting you, sir? What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think, you know, having them along. I mean, what came to my mind is, well, what took y'all so long?
Yeah.
First of all,
there you go.
What took you so long? You know, because, you know, what we were telling you, you know, was the truth, and a lot of them knew it was the truth. But there's a thing of betrayal that they have to deal with in their community. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had a white friend who, acquaintance a long time ago, who explained all that to me. He knew his nana, grandma, aunts, uncles all were racist. He had a few black friends, but he knew that he couldn't bring up the subject of race for being called a nigger lover. Wow. So he asked me this question. He said, if I reject my people and come to your side, how many of your people are gonna accept me? And I'll say from my friend and family perspective, we would all accept you. Right. Even some of the more aggressive ones who distrust white folk, you know, because we have a thing where if I bring you into the fold, the family and friends, then you could be trusted. You know, it's different from his side. You know, they different. So with the protests and all over the world, I think that's great. That's wonderful. I'm not one that would riot, burn, and loot, but I understand why some do it, and when I explain it to some of my friends down here, they don't understand. My white acquaintances, they don't understand it.
Well, some of them,
Right,
some of the white
because-
people are doing looting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
right. And when you showed that, it quieted it down a little bit. This was just the very beginning when they thought it was just all black.
Mm-hmm.
But when you showed them, and some of them were infiltrators
Yeah, a lot of them.
coming from Donald Trump's side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they come from that side. Them Charlottesville people, type. Okay.
That's.
So-
Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, so don't let them fool you. Yeah, it's great that we have their support, but we have to be very, very, very careful. Minister Farrakhan said a long time ago, and even the Black Panther taught us a long time ago, be careful who you let join your group.
That's wisdom.
Because if you do, you don't know if they're just here sinking. You know how the Black Panther got dismantled
Yes, sir.
by the government, and they were doing a righteous thing in the black community, and so we have to be lucid, be understanding that, hey, look, what you here for? Okay, you here to be peaceful and protest to help bring about change, or are you here to loot and riot and burn to make Black Lives Matter look like a terrorist organization? Because that's what a lot of folks think.
That mirrors what you said. Minister Farrakhan said that mirrors and echoes what Malcolm said about the civil rights movement. That it was on fire in the beginning, and like a hot cup of coffee, you pour milk in it, it cools. And when we started to let the other demographic in, we had to settle for what we got. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it
Right.
makes sense. And when I said that there are some issues that we'll have to deal with internally with that, and it segues into this, right? Because people like to say we're all the same. We're not. We're not the same.
No.
Five digits, 2 eyes, the ears, and the nose, or wherever I'm going to say, man. But that's where it ends. Well, see, the mindset is important. Characteristics are the way we process information, what we do. See, the problem that I'm experiencing now with that demographic alongside of us is that like that hot cup of coffee reference, now they want to come in and they want to tell us how to protest, what to do, and what we should settle for. I don't like that. I really don't. You know what I mean? Because I find myself having to, I'll just put it out here. I just got accosted by who I call a Karen, right? Who's supposed to be on our side. Okay, she want to put me out there as a racist, take my profile picture and put it on Facebook. He's a racist. I mean, I've been called worse, but you don't take my picture out there, because now you're exposing me to whatever comes with that. You know what I mean? Now you're jeopardizing my life. Now, if you're on my side, if you're on our side, what are you doing on our side trying to expose racists for? So I said this to her, and I'll give you a chance to respond to what I said, right? I said, there's a difference between being racist and just tired of people's BS. And then you got bigots and prejudice. I said, you got to learn the difference between those. I said, but when it boils down to me, right, you might take what I'm saying as being racist because you don't understand the black experience in dealing with your own people. I said, it's not about racism with me. It's about I'm tired of your people's BS. So I'm angry. So I speak angry. I'm not going to be nice about a word I say to you. And I said, and furthermore, history has taught me not to trust any one of you until you prove yourself worthy. Okay? We've been burned too many times. So with that, I'm racist. She said she stood with Malcolm and she followed Martin Luther King and all this, and the other. That doesn't mean nothing to me. Your people killed them. You understand? I said, racists say that all the time. I stand with Malcolm and quote him all the time. I said, that does not impress me. Go ahead and comment on that.
Yeah, I don't believe that, as a black people, that we could be racist. We could be biased and we could be prejudiced. But bigots and racists, we cannot. It's systematic. And from the systematic, it goes into the community, and it goes into the individual white person, and because they benefit from slavery and from the systematic racism,
right?
Then their biases and their prejudices are the foundation of their racism, even when they say they're not racist. they know that they were raised with a thought of distrust. When they see us clench the purse, watch them. They always blame us for what they truly are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They blame I told a white friend, I said, black folks steal. I said, well, black folks learn how to steal from the greatest thief in the world. When you steal a country,
wow,
then you steal people from another a continent, from many different West Coast countries.
Yeah,
you're the greatest crook that ever lived. So if we are thieves, we learn from the best.
That's right.
If we are crooks, we everything that you say that we do, from murder on down to petty theft, we learn from y'all.
You see,
it's in your history.
Tamika Mallory.
Development of your nation.
Tamika Mallory said exactly what you just said in that great speech that she did. I forgot. It's a few weeks ago, right? When everything was coming. Everything was coming together, and right before George Floyd was laid to rest, man, her and George Floyd's friend, and for whatever reason, they had Jamie Foxx there, and the media just went to him, for no reason whatsoever, right? And he told them, man, I'm not the focal point here, I'm not the star, but they didn't believe him. But I focused on Tamika Mallory. Oh my God, I want her for vice president, brother. Do you know who she is?
I've heard of her. And and I've heard some of the things she said, and I'm being down here in the South. I've seen a couple of people. The representative, the young lady from Georgia, can't think of her name right now. Stacey
Abrams.
Yeah, I love her. She is smart.
Yeah,
I mean, she is smart, articulate. And then the other sister from Florida, the Orlando region, Temperance, I forget, Val
Demings.
Yeah, Val Demings.
Val Demings.
She is sharp. She is sharp, and I think both of them would be, would be good candidates for.
You know why I say Tamika Mallory, and don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing any shade on Stacey Abrams or Val Demings, right? But I am throwing shade on I can't remember her name. I can see her face. Harris, what's her name?
I know Harris. Yeah, Harris.
Yeah. Just push her out the way. Yeah, just push her out the way. But the other two, man, and there are a couple of more. You know what I mean? They are more than qualified for that position in my opinion, right? But what sets Tamika aside, right, is that I think she's a cross between Malcolm X and Angela Davis. And considering that the vice president, the rap on the vice president has been, they don't have nothing to do. You know what I mean? I think that in itself makes her qualified for the position. Why, Nate? Because of this. If she ain't got nothing to do, which basically they find stuff for the vice president to do, or like the first lady, he or she creates their own job, right?
Right.
Can you see her as vice president going out there saying the things that she says with that type of clout behind her? Because see, Stacey and Val Demings, no, they can't and will not do it like that, right? Not unapologetically. They'll speak soft and they'll speak from intellect. But Tamika speaks from intellect, but she speaks raw and unapologetic with authority, and that just goes through me, man. That just goes through me because that's something I can get behind and something I can trust. Your thoughts? Yeah,
but too as well, you also have to be aware of the other side. Fear mongering is one of the biggest weapons that they use. Our faces to scare a lot of their people.
Yeah, but Tamika's not fit. I don't. See, let me cut you off right there for a second.
She got a lot of intelligence, but I don't. And even I wouldn't even do anything really against her because she's going to basically be led by what Biden would tell her to do. She wouldn't be so outspoken as she is as a individual right now. But as vice president, I don't think that she would be as. If she was to, afterwards run for president, then maybe. But I just like I said,
see that's where I got a problem.
You got a problem with it,
huh? See, you just poured the milk in the hot coffee, right? She wouldn't be as outspoken. That's what I'm looking for, because we've had 45 presidents and vice presidents, and none of them has been outspoken. Okay, and none of them have done nothing for the black community in terms of our advancement. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for somebody who doesn't care about those people's feelings and tell it like it is. Because the reason I think we're still where we at is because we're careful about how they feel or what they think about what we're doing and saying, and that becomes the bigger thing than the cause. Okay, and I think that really holds us in our lane. Go ahead.
And I believe you're right. You're right, and I agree with you that you're right. Mm-hmm. And but the political system is that what it is.
Yeah.
It does not allow for the vice president to speak out and say what they really want to say.
Wait. I got to cut you off there. Now I said I was going to ask questions and I was going to comment, right? But we're not going to go back and forth. But I got to say this: Pence is doing it. He's just not outspoken. He speaks soft. But Pence is doing it. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, he's doing it. I would say underneath.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's doing it underneath the line in which Trump allows him to say something. I still think he's a puppet too.
Oh yes,
Trump.
Yes.
He's a big time puppet. I mean, he comes from the state capital of the KKK. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more he would love to say.
I think he's in the closet.
He would love to do to control us Black Lives Matter folk. If he could. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, thing like that. But whoever he chooses, I'm gonna be behind him because the rascal that's in there now needs to go.
Well, see,
he's starting to send his secret police into these communities of protest, and he's telling folks to beware. Because the Black Lives Matter people, he's trying to turn the Black Lives Matters people into a terrorist group.
Oh, they already been upgraded to terrorists. They're already there.
Yeah, and so so anytime you see demonstrators, whether it is all white or mixed or mostly black, they're terrorists.
Yeah.
But he's real friendly with the Charlottesville people.
Oh, there's good people on both sides. Come on, let's be honest. There's good people on both sides. Yeah. Okay, brother. But those secret police, the secret police, right? Everything's obscure. The name tag and the organization they represent. But that's neither here nor there. Their faces are obscured. For what reason, right? It's not just from them wearing the mask or whatnot. They got stuff covering their identity, which tells me that they're nothing but redneck white supremacists. They're not who they say they are. Those are the good old boys down there, because the only thing they come to do is knock heads. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe so too. I believe that they are representative of the white nationalist group that Trump is a part of. He's actually proclaimed that he's a white nationalist. I think they're under his tutelage, and he aims to do as much damage to any small community or a large municipality to basically get them under control, to try to prove to his supporters that he is the law and order president.
Jack.
He doesn't understand policing, or even what the policies and procedures of policing is.
Well, see, I mean, we've been catering to his base and demographics since he became president. I'm just sick of it. They ain't the only people in the United States that have an opinion, and that he should care about. But that's all he cares about is those, and I'm going to say it, idiots and deplorables. And I don't care who come at me, because that's what they are. And that's what they act like, and they act worse. Okay, so, you're not going to get an apology from me, whoever's watching this, okay? Because I stand by that. But anyways, man, I got to tell you, oh my God. This guy is sending stormtroopers to battle protesters, armed stormtroopers.
Peaceful protesters. Don't get put peaceful on there.
peaceful protesters, but they beat them in the streets like dogs. Okay, they beat them in the streets like dogs, right? And this is crazy, man. It doesn't make a bit of sense, right? That he let these people loose, who have complete authority, because they can't get them out of Portland, and now they invaded Chicago. The mayors and the governors in those states don't have any say in it, because Trump has to weighed in as the president. There's got to be some type of control mechanism to stop that, man. There's got to be.
There is one governor, I forgot, I just read that on my news feed, said that he is going to send out his police to arrest these secret police if they come to his town.
But do they have the power to do that, is what I'm saying.
I think he does. If they don't, then it'll be a great big court battle, and the district courts and the Supreme Court will have to decide. I think that's a great tactic by this mayor, because I don't know what the policy is, but if he sends them out, he's their boss. Arrest those people.
The mayor of Portland tried to do the same thing. But I don't know if he or she, I don't know who the mayor of Portland is. I don't know if they threatened to do it. I'll say that. I don't know if they actually did it, right?
Yeah. Because
I
came out there with them, and then they tear gassed him too. So
they tear gassed the cops.
They tear gassed him too. So he needs to use his authority and be a little bit more aggressive. I would do the same thing. I would send out my police and my National Guard to arrest those federal agents out there, or their so-called undercover federal agents, who I believe are white nationalists.
I think they are, man. I really do.
So I would arrest them and see just to see who they are. You know what I'm saying? Just to see who they are. Sure enough would. I said, I would have my National Guard would be out there to handle his secret police.
Now, what does that do? What does that do when those two forces clash and it seems like a war, right? What does that do for society, though? I mean, I would do the same thing, Jack. Don't get me wrong, but I'm playing devil's advocate here because I can hear white people right now. What is that going to accomplish? I hear it right now. So explain that. Go ahead.
Well, it would mean that you're taking a stand, and you're basically not going to allow the federal government. I mean, that's what the Republicans always had. Don't let the government come in and tell you what to do. Don't let them come into your community and tell you what to do. That's what they believe. So that's what I would do. You're not coming into my community with my people who work hard, pay taxes, and are American citizens, and run roughshod through the community and attack peaceful protesters.
And this is
I'm gonna have my This is what it will do. Let me answer what it will do. It would let Trump know that basically his powers are limited, and basically, like I say, it would end up in a bigger court system, like the district courts and the Supreme Court. But the bottom line is, once everybody's seen that the mayor is successful in doing it, then other mayors around the country would do it. But Trump tried to invade.
His base, I mean, all they yell is get rid of government interference. I mean, this is an oxymoron, man. This is complete hypocrisy, contradiction, all those big words that I don't know the meaning of, right? I mean, what he's going to, his promise was to come and clean up the swamp that he just perpetuated and made worse, right? They don't want no government interference, and he's using the government to his end. The contradiction is just, man, how is this guy still president is my problem. That's my problem, man.
He's still president because Comey lied the last 10 days.
Who?
Before that, Comey lied. The FBI agent director lied the last 10 days about Hillary.
You think he lied?
And he did lie.
He did?
He let that information that he gave out had no significance.
Oh, about Hillary.
It didn't break any laws, and it wasn't anything, and they trumped up. In other words, the media hype about it. People decided to stay home on that Tuesday.
You talking about what he did to Hillary?
Huh?
You talking about what he did to Hillary?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Remember
okay.
Tommy?
Yeah,
Said
yeah. I forgot about that.
information that it had no basis. It had no basis.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the election. It wasn't anything criminal.
I
He
think
just put it out there.
he did that under direction. I'll bet you it was a direct order. I'll bet you it was, man. I'll bet you it was. You know what I mean? There was no reason for him to do that. Hillary had it locked. She had it locked at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So,
folks,
go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why people stayed home, and now the people that stay home regret it. Of course, hindsight. You can't do anything about it.
You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to sum it up. We're down to our last 2 minutes. Say whatever's on your mind, brother. I'm going to give you the floor till you end. 2 minutes, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to say this to all our people out there. Be cognitive of what's going around. I was always taught to read between the lines of what anybody is saying or talking about concerning our society, our nation, and help one another. Pick up yourselves, pick up one another. I always believe in giving a hand up rather than a handout. Help people stand up on their feet. Get people out to vote. Let's take care of our own community. We know what's going on with this pandemic, and we know how it's affecting our community, and we're dying by the hundreds of thousands. It's time for us to wake up, take off the blinders, and take care of one another. Because believe me this, there's nobody that's going to take care of you or care about you if you don't take care or care about yourself. So my thing is that from the perspective of the COVID-19, put on your mask, wear your glove, stay out of crowds. And as far as the protest, keep peacefully protest, and keep exercising your First Amendment right. And if you have to exercise your Second Amendment right, do it.
All right. All right, there you have it.
Yes, sir.
That's Mr. Jack Johnson, if I can get this up here. All right. Mr. Jack Johnson, all the way from Alabama, and used to be a former native of Springfield. But we got the brother now. We got him back. Very intelligent conversation. I love you, man, for coming on the show. And I only got like 5 seconds, so all I'm going to say is deuces. Okay, we out.
Okay, cool.
Wrong one.
I appreciate that, man, for having me on, man. That was great.
Man.
Shelf. Here's our music serving you some music. Papa got a brand new funk. Kick down, body for your right. Let's get it on. Like we said before, see the brothers cause the trouble, hate the busted bubble, cause we rumble from our